Good evening, everyone. Welcome to Women Empowered MN LLC. Tonight, our topic is what makes a good friend. Hmm, that's deep.
Yeah.
You want to go first, Devin?
Now let's switch it up. Let's go from the bottom up.
What makes a good friend? Let's see. Um, Someone who you can talk to about the things that you have going on without judgment. They listen to you without judgment. Um, Someone who is around when things are not always so wonderful, but they're around when things get hard and things are tough, and you know they're just there for you, right? They're just available for you. They're there for you when you're toasting, but they're also there for you when you're trying to pick your face up off the floor. When you're in a place where you don't know what tomorrow may bring, they're giving you hope that tomorrow has so many other opportunities, and they make you rethink life in that moment. Um, a good friend is somebody who they can ask you if you need something and you can tell them no, and they know that you need something. Yeah, it doesn't necessarily mean materialism. They just know that you need something. Sit in silence with you when you're going through something major. They can just sit in silence with you and they can just know. Um, Not talking about you behind your back. Just overall, just a good hearted person, a person who is loving and sweet and at the same time real. A person that's not going to allow you to sit in your crap either. They're going to tell you when you're messing up. They're going to tell you when you could be doing better. They're going to tell you when hey, well, I don't always agree with that. I don't consider people being good friends when they constantly go with the flow of everything that you say and do, because you're not being real with me. You can sit here and tell me that yes, 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 and turn around and pick your phone up and call somebody else and be like, girl, look, listen, you know, that's not a good friend. So those are some just qualities that I consider when I think of having good friends and good friendships. Sisterhood, right? Sisterships. I've been really honing in on that. I don't know where that word came from, but sisterships is amazing. Like you don't have to they don't leave you guessing, right? You just know your people, you know. So that's what that's what constitutes as a good friend, good friendship for me.
I agree with that. Are you on, Veronica?
She can go last. You go next.
All right, I'll go next. A good friend to me, when I think of what it is that I need, is yes, I need somebody that is going to be consistent, somebody that is going to be there through all of my different storms and understand what those storms are and what it is that I need out of it. Whether that just be needing somebody to talk to about some issues that I'm going through, or just needing somebody just to sit here with me, just to be able to be present. I also think like a good friend is somebody that, yes, can, like Eb said, call me out on when it is that they don't agree with what it is that I'm doing, and to be able to tell me that, hey, you're doing something and I'm just not cool with it, or I don't agree with that. To be able to be 100% honest, but to be able to show and kind of align with that I know that it's coming from a good place and that it's not from an ill intention. Um, I know that we sometimes get friends that we think that have a lot of ill intentions, and sometimes it's a little bit hard when somebody is telling you the truth about something that you're doing and it's not good. The truth is actually hard to be able to take in when we know that it's something that we're doing bad. And so when I think of a good friend and what I need from that is I need somebody to be able to call me out on my BS and say, hey, Davina, that's not cool. To be able to help me self-reflect and to be able to align on a better path and a better journey in life. Somebody that is not going to get me to try to do something that they know that is not right or something that I don't agree with or something that can harm me. I don't know. I seem to have pretty good friends, and it feels really good to know that I have really good friends. Have I had some failed friendships? Yes, I have, but I think for the most part, the handful of friends that I do have, they've stayed steady for decades. And so I don't focus on so much of what their friendship needs to be to me anymore. Now I focus on what it is that I need to be for them. And I think that that is modeling what a good friend is I don't only want to take from you, but I want to be able to give back as well.
I like that. I agree with both of y'all. You want to go next week, or I can go?
Yeah, I can go. I was having some technical difficulties.
Okay.
Sorry. But no, I do. I agree with what both of you all said, especially what Davina said about modeling what type of friend you want to be. That's the key. To understand and not so much worry about being understood. I think it just creates a space where people can be authentic. And that's what type of friends I need: real friends, true friends, where they're free to be themselves and I'm free to be myself. What's most important to me today um, is friends that's going to help me grow. That's what's really, really important to me today. Like, we don't have to talk every day. I'm a different type of person too. So we don't have to talk every day, every week. But when it's real, you just know it's real. And it's like when I do call you, we can pick up the phone and talk to each other for hours and catch up and things like that. But I think what makes a good friend is somebody who's understanding, someone who's not judgmental, someone who has empathy, someone who's committed to helping you be a better you, whatever that may look like. Like you say, somebody that you could have a disagreement with and you could turn around and you can still be friends, because you understand the true heart of one another. You know that they know who you really are and you know who they really are. So yeah, come without intentions, like I'm just coming pure, this is who I am. So that's what I consider to be a good friend.
I agree with all of you ladies. That was one thing I was thinking about when this topic came about. What makes a good friend? I think I've experienced a lot of various type of friendships. The number one thing for me is the growth piece. Like Veronica said, are these individuals helping me grow in life? I mean, because that's the main thing in life, is we're supposed to grow, elevate. Is this person, making me not want to elevate, things like that? Is that really something I want in my life? A lot of my friends became family. So I feel like those good friends are actual, sisters that I don't have. I don't have sisters. So I look at them like they're my sisters. Their kids are my nieces and nephews. That's just how it is. Those are good friends to me. I also feel like a good friendship is never going to always be happy, because we're not always going to see eye to eye, because it could be something that you got to tell me, as a real conversation, like, Devin, you got to get your stuff together. And I've had it where friends have actually did that. And I thank God that they have, because I wouldn't be, look at Davina, she knows it's her. I wouldn't be where I am today, honestly, if I didn't have the good friends that I did. Did I think in the time that, this is the best thing, instead of them sheltering me and keeping me in a certain position? No, I mean, of course not. You never think that, when your, shelter is taken away from you, and it's for a good reason, but, you don't know what you're really going through until you actually go through things. So it's like, those are the good friends that have your best well-being at hand. it's hard for me to put it in words because it's like you just know in your heart if someone is a good friend. It's just a right feeling. If you always have a bad feeling about someone or always have to maybe like second guess or question someone's actions, that's not a good friend. Because there's always things that, well, let me make an excuse for why this person did this. And friends, you don't have to do that. And like Veronica said, I don't need to talk to you every day for you to know at the end of the day, if you need to call me or you need to pull up at my house, I'm going to let you in. I'm going to answer the phone if it's something serious. As far as me talking to people on the phone, that's not, a reflection of my well-being for my friends. I'm working on that. I will say that was an issue of mine with answering the phone. So if someone looked at me and said, Devin don't answer the phone, she's not a good friend, then, you don't know the rest of my story then. Because that's one thing with me is like, don't pick out one thing and say, that's me. Look at the overall picture. Like, what has Devin done for you as a friend? I do anything for my friends that I would expect to be done for me. Even if it's not, because I just do things out of the kindness of my heart. Like, that's just how it is, I get the shirt off of my back and I could, be bareback because I know you might need it more than I do. That's just the type of friend I am. So that's what I think about when I think about what makes a good friend. Who would I want to be in my life forever versus someone to kick it and hang around on a regular basis? No, I want to look at you when we're 90 and be laughing about everything that we've done over our years of growth. And girl, look at what you got now and look what you made it through. Yes, and I'm that friend. So I think that's a good friend to me. We got a lot of comments. Y'all want to
just to use one of the examples is I was that friend to Devin that she never answered the phone. And when she didn't answer the phone, I seen her at the club one time and she was out with other friends. And I was like, not even having it. I wasn't talking to her. I was ignoring her all night. She was like, what is wrong? And I was like, I've been going through everything and you ain't answer. Like, we're not friends no more. I can cut you out. She was like, girl, you better stop tripping.
I told her a couple of years ago, I said, what if it was the last time you ignored a call and that would have been the last time you would hear that person's voice? How would you feel about that?
And I think that was an awakening moment for her is because I was in a car accident. I had lost my job. Just everything had just happened. And I had been calling her back to back and she didn't answer. And then I seen her like this heifer. And she was like, I didn't know. And I said, you wouldn't know because you don't answer. And so she is a really good friend. Y'all don't get me wrong. Like she has made multiple changes in life. And we have been doing this for over a decade and going back and forth. I love her to death. And she has been one person that I can absolutely count on whenever I have ever been in need.
Are we doing that? Are we giving out friend names? Because I could do that too. Should we do that? Should we throw out a friend and shout out a friend, y'all?
Yes, we should.
Can I go next?
Yes.
I'm not going to see Devin because you said Devin, but yo, my friend Crystal, hands down. My friend Crystal Holiday, and she probably don't want to be put on blast. I don't care. When I say friend, amazing friend, our children, they've been with each other since he was in first grade. My daughter was in third. I actually met her. She was moving into my townhomes and then I was in the office and she didn't really like me because over the phone, I was like, I'm aware. Cause y'all know I speak with a condescendingness to some, maybe if you don't know me, like right off the bat, my voice can carry a little differently sometimes, especially if it's business. And she said she remembers saying, look at this. So then when she actually met me and I wasn't that way, then we kind of blossomed then. And then she ended up, her son was going to my school. And I told her he couldn't have his goldfish crackers in the classroom. And that was another, head off with her. But I ended up hiring her. She ended up working for me in the afternoons. And she was working there, and her son was going there, and I told her she needed to pull him out of my own school because it wasn't good for him. And long story short, like when I say hands down, one of the most sweetest, amazing human beings I have ever met. Her mother, like that's my person. Like it is. She's amazing, and I love her so much. I You know what? The new friendship just bounced off the line. I was about to say something about her, but I don't know where she went.
No, keep going. She'll hear.
Anywho, um, I needed her. I needed Veronica too. I needed Veronica to bring me back to God, y'all. I was so removed from anything spiritual, godly, whatever. I needed our relationship. Whatever our relationship is, I needed that. Like, and to be where I am right now, like I pray openly and I'm getting good at it. That was a few months ago. That wasn't me. And I'm not talking about just prayer line, openly. I'm talking about over my family every night, over my husband, over my daughter, over my mother, my brother, my sister, like my family, over y'all, over my friends, over my business partners, over everybody. um she has helped me get to a place when I was dark a few months ago, and I mean dark. She comes with this fast, and we do this 40-day fast, and we're sitting here, and it just came at the perfect time to just sit and be silent. Yes, I'm talking about you as you bleeped off. I done sat here and talked all about you, and you bleeped off, and that's
I'm
okay.
sorry, my
That's
daughter called me,
okay.
y'all.
No, you're so fine. I'll just keep going. You'll go back and watch at some point. But when I say that, she's just been that light in my life, and in just less than a year, like what we have evolved into our friendship is like I wouldn't trade her for anything in the world. I wouldn't trade any of you. I mean, this is more than just business to me. This is everything to me. Sisterhood. Y'all sat on the phone with me, and in the darkest hours months ago, you hear me, the darkest of hours, and just would sit there with me and
And we
love on me
day, any hour.
and tell me that I was going to be okay and mean it, like just when I
Yep.
didn't think I would, you know. Veronica with the, praying and making sure that I stay focused through prayer. And Devin, like, hey, you're not going to give up on that right there. You're not going to do this. And Davina is like, hey, get your life together. You're not going to do that. That's not what we're doing. Ed. We're not going to go that route. And we're not going to do that. We're not going to do this. We're going to do this. I'm so used to being the voice, but God gave me voices. And that's everything. Like, it's huge. And I'm so grateful. I can't just speak on my one friend and not speak on the friendships that I have built here in this sisterhood here, because this sisterhood here is everything to me. And I love you. I love you all.
I love you all too.
I love you too.
We are
I
an
love you
amazing.
too, Ed. No, y'all came around. I feel like Ebony feel, and I'm not gonna say I'm glad that my daughter called, but I don't want to ugly cry today. And that's what that would have made me do, because I hear what you said. But I love you too, and I appreciate that. And I appreciate y'all too. Like, God put y'all in my life right at the right time. Y'all came in my life at a very, very hard time for me, and y'all just gave me so much wisdom and so much support and so much love, and where I felt so dark and I felt like I didn't have nobody. And I'm just grateful for all of y'all. Y'all all add something different to my life. And it's a real sisterhood. It's more than a friendship. It's like a sisterhood. We can say what we need to say and move on past it. And I'm grateful for that. So just know that I love y'all and I appreciate y'all too. I really do.
Love you too.
I love y'all too. And I feel the same way, other than y'all is my little sisters and y'all talk too damn much.
Yeah. I was like, yeah. We don't, yeah, a little bit.
Yeah, we
I
do.
know I do. I can go. Davina be like, I don't know what's going on. It's too much talking. We be like,
My phone be like ding, 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 ding. Derek be like, "Who is that?" I'm like, "They just talking, babe." Like, why you always putting your phone on silent? I'm like, "Cause they always talking and you always asking me who it is." Like, let them talk. Let's be.
Gift of gabs, let me tell you. But I mean, it's growth too. Devin wouldn't even talk on the phone, like you said. And
Yeah.
it's growth. Like there's so much
Yes.
growth, and I constantly tell her, I said, God, you answer the phone now. It's so nice to talk to you.
yeah.
Though we
Mhm.
understand why people do. I mean, she talks on the phone for a living, but you understand, like, to understand that, but like now where things are, is
Mhm.
everything. My wedding, right? Let's talk about that real quick. My husband came with 12 groomsmen. I'm thinking, this what we doing. I'm like, okay, we gonna get married, wedding. I'm like, let me write my fab five, maybe four down. We come towards each other. I said, what's this? Everybody that's coming to the wedding? No, that's my groom's list. What? So I had to match it. 12 women, yada, whatever. We didn't end up get COVID did a lot for my wedding. It was beautiful for what it was, but it wasn't the lavish wedding that I had planned. But I say that to say, just the women that I had in my wedding and differences and things like that, I could just appreciate the neutralness of the real ones. And I'm not saying that there weren't. No, I'm not going to sugarcoat. I learned that there were some not so real people. Weddings and certain things will expose certain people to you. My wedding exposed a lot of things to me. I lost my maid of honor for whatever reason, because I still don't know to this day. Okay. Don't even know what happened, and that's fine, but that wasn't God's intent. But my friend Crystal, she should have been my maid of honor in the first place, just as she was. God did this. God circles back in our lives. I wasn't thinking about God like that till Veronica came along, though. I didn't think about that. I wasn't thinking nowhere like that was why, but exposed a lot of people. And I'm gonna be honest with you, exposure is everything. But this one over here, just she didn't get into drama. She stayed neutral. She was a white shoe. We wearing red, gray, and white. What we doing? This just just away
I ain't got time
removed from it.
for
Huh?
that. I said, I ain't got time for none of that.
Yes. Oh, girl, but I love you. And Devin is my cousin, right? I don't even know if y'all knew that. Did y'all know that?
Yeah, we are actually
I did
family.
not know that.
It's
Well, you
weird
can
too. We're cousins through
cross
marriage.
cousin out and you can put sister there because we are four
Yes, we are
sisters.
sisters, but her
Yes.
mom's cousin is my uncle's ex-wife, and my cousin, his son, their son, is her cousin. So
Oh wow.
yeah,
Y'all was meant to
funny.
be together anyway.
Right. And then her mom and my aunt, they resemble. So it's
Yeah.
Hmm.
You see me
yeah.
when she said she lost her maid of honor. I shook my head no because who was supposed to be there was there.
Was there. Yep,
Yep.
that's a fact. That's
Agreed.
a fact.
Agreed. And so yeah.
When I think about that, and I think about like the problem that we have as women is making genuine connections, for the reasons that we kind of said earlier today, like what are people intentions, and then we're second guessing them. And so I don't know, just talking about this make me feel like I need to say this to women who may be watching and probably shaking their head like, nah, I just don't do women. I just don't. I mean, we've all said that. And yep, we've all said it. But the thing is, you just haven't found the right women. God haven't put them in front of you yet, and they'll come around. No matter what we may think, we all need somebody. And I think so many of us walk around with the world on our shoulders, feeling way down because we're trying to carry everything by ourselves. So do yourself a favor and start looking for the good in people, because if they are not good, God will expose them. If it's something bad about them, God will expose them. But try opening yourself up to receive the love of another woman, because it's a beautiful thing to have a sisterhood, to have a woman you could pick up the phone and call or just vent to. Like, it's amazing. And I know it's hard. It's hard to trust people. It's hard to trust people motives and people intentions. But if God be for you, who can be against you? He will expose every pretender, every fake person, anybody who means you any harm, any ill will. So I just want to encourage some ladies today. Like, don't wait until you get 50 years old to be like, oh, I guess I'll have me a friend. Try it right now. We need it to get through life. We literally need each other. Like, I can't believe, like, it hasn't even been a year since we have connected. And you wouldn't imagine how many things we have all been through in this short period of time. And it's good that we were able to have each other to bounce off of each other and to encourage and uplift one another. Can you imagine a woman who went through all that stuff that we went through that don't have nobody? So it's just like I just felt like it was time to say that. Sorry, just had to say that.
I hate the word fake when it
Yeah.
comes to women. People, oh, she fake, she this, she that. A lot of things happen in seasons, like, right? People change through seasons, people grow through seasons, they grow apart, they don't have the same interests, they may not have, you might not be, the common denominator for me anymore, or whatever. It doesn't necessarily mean that person's fake or you're fake
Mhm.
because you were moving different or your life moves different. It doesn't, you don't. I wrote it on the Women Empowered group today, and that is that your sister might be going through something so hard that ain't got anything to do with you, but
Come
yet
on.
you're judging, yet you're
Yep.
making a decision to be mad at them, dislike them, talk smack about them, feel some kind of way about them because of what you got to deal with within your heart and the
Mhm.
insecurities and ugliness you got to work on
Mhm.
inside yourself. It has nothing to do
Mhm.
with that woman. Did you pick up the phone and ask that woman what she's going through, or if she's
Okay.
okay, or if she needs anything? Did you do
Come
that?
on.
Because
Right.
half the time, if not more than half the time, that's not what women do. Women will be like, she acting funny. She fake as you don't know what. She phony than a mug. She this, she that.
Mhm.
And that don't even be the
Mhm.
case. Y'all use that word fake like is, and I'm not saying there's people out there that are not authentic. I choose to use that word.
Right.
But I just don't believe in people being that word being fake anymore. That's new to me. I used to say that word, I used to use it, but I don't know, ever since I've been just aligning my life differently, it makes me cringe when I hear it. um I hear that word and it's just like, no, that probably is not the case. Like, they might be dealing with something that may be a little bit more than what you might know, and you would probably know a little bit more if you were less shallow about it and
Mhm.
actually tried to figure out if it was your sister friend or your sister ship that you were in. You would probably know that because you would have done all the things you need to do to see if that person was okay.
Well,
Stop
Correct.
calling people fake, like, until
part
you
of
like,
that is part of that is being open-minded too. Like, you could be
Mhm.
with
yeah.
a person that is you're so fixated on looking for flaws that you're missing all of your blessings. You have to be able to give time to adapt to you just as well as you have to adapt to somebody else.
Mhm.
To be able to understand that a friendship is also just like a relationship. You have to learn how to dance in a storm with somebody else. Like,
Come on.
to be able to share a space with somebody else and to know, like, you might be a control freak on your own behalf and not even realize it and know that. To be able to learn, like, it's kind of like being the only child and now all of a sudden here you got a sister or a brother, to be able to be
Mhm.
time and it's not all any longer. And no, I'm not talking about you, Elle.
Yes, you are. I was the only child till I was 11. Then here she gonna have two of them in the same year. Girl,
The nerve.
the
How dare
nerve.
she? The nerve.
The
I
You
think
nerve.
know?
also being a part of being a good friend is also knowing not to put more on your friendships than they should be, right? Why would I
Mhm.
put pressure on someone that I don't know exactly everything they go through on a daily basis? And I shouldn't expect more out of the relationship than what it is. Because I think sometimes that's what friends do is they could be single, friends with someone who's in a relationship and expecting that person to be able to have time like as if they're a single person. You get what I'm saying? Like
Right.
it's just about actually being a friend to someone in any situation and being mindful of this person probably works a lot of hours. This person, may have a new marriage that they're dealing with. This person might have a lot of kids they have to be with, so they might not be as available. And that's being a good friend to know that, hey girl, I know you're busy. Let's find a time. Let's put some time on the calendar and let's meet up. And if it doesn't work out, sometimes it doesn't, but that shouldn't be the ending factor of every time I call you, we can't hang out. And it's like, because I got a lot going on. I'm an adult. You know what I mean? Like,
I'm a whole grown woman.
It's a good thing you said time too, because time and friendships are different for everybody. I could meet you and in a month feel like you're my BFF if I've made that connection, but then you as my new BFF might not have made that same connection with me that I have with you. And so it may take you a little bit more time to be able to consider me your BFF, and so I know that could be heartfelt to somebody that thinks like, oh, this is my new road dog, and find out like, oh, well, I'm not number one on her list. Like, where do I come on her list? Like, we have to stop thinking about where it is that another person is placing us. And we have to be more focused on what it is that we are doing, what we are contributing, what we are bringing, and how it is that we are handling the situations. Time over everything will tell if that's a true friend. And two, you have to be able to know somebody long enough to know their different thems, how they are when they're in their hardships, how they are when they're in good times, how they are when they are going through an emotional crisis. People are different in different situations.
Yes.
So not everybody can handle somebody in those different situations. If I'm going through a stressful relationship at home, one might not be able to deal with that. If I'm dealing with a financial crisis at home and, don't know how to handle my money and pay my bills and whatnot, somebody might not be able to deal with that. So just knowing that, to be able to truly know somebody, you have to know them in every version. How they are when they're angry, how they are when they're sad, how they are when they're happy, when they're mad. There's different emotions that we all carry. And when we're dealing with different emotions, it's easier said than done to deal with somebody when they're in that stage of their life.
I agree with everything that you said, Davina. And I think a big part of that is by giving people grace and meeting people exactly where they at too. Right? You can't always have an expectation on people. You have to give people room to be who they are. And then you can decide if this is something I can work with or not. It's no different than a romantic relationship. The thing that we've probably experienced in life is that women will give a man more grace in that aspect. But then when it comes to a female that they're friends with, her string is real short. She can't do all that, right? Or she's going to get cut off. So
Were you on prayer line when we talked about that 2 days ago?
Was it in the morning?
Yes. That's too coincidental. I'm not even going to go there with you. We had a whole discussion on just what you said. Wow.
Yeah, it's a real thing. And I think that if we could normalize giving people grace and treating relationships like relationships, we will have better relationships. We have this high expectation of girlfriends, but then when we have our guy friends, then it's like, oh, it's okay, he didn't know no better, we're gonna try this way, I forgive him. But that's one thing that I noticed. And I wanted to touch on Sinetra's, what she just said about what about when you try to reach out to be there for somebody and then they say that you weren't there for them. Honey, you got to walk in your truth. That's just that. You did all that you can do. It's kind of like, I think it was either Davina or Devin said it, like, all you can do is show up as the friend that you are, right? And once you've done that, that's it. Whether they receive it or not, your truth and you did the best thing that you can do. And that's just it. Because I think we all done had somebody do something like that. No, you done did everything that you could to really show up for them. And they say, oh, well, you wasn't there, or I ain't gonna say and sometimes we do try to show up for people, but it's not in the way they wanted us to show up, right?
Right.
So sometimes it's like that even in romantic relationships. You're like, I've been doing this, I've been doing that. They're like, you ain't done nothing.
Yeah.
Or you done did all that, and the one time you didn't do something, you ain't never did nothing.
Right. Or you want to look at the reality of it, is sometimes people sometimes people really just seek attention to the point to where they
Mm-hmm.
actually just they want to be mad about it, or they want to,
Something.
you know what I'm saying? They want to be like
Yes.
that towards you because they want to be able to say to other people that she wasn't there. And there's many different variables, and that in that instance, those people have to work on themselves. You have
Yeah.
no responsibility to how they perceive your friendship.
Correct.
As long as you know what you're doing, first of all, as long as God knows first what you're doing, right? As long as
Mm-hmm.
you know what you're doing and you know that you're being genuine and being a good friend to them, all else don't matter. It don't matter who they told that you're not a friend to. It
Mhm.
don't matter who they set up and talked about you to. None of it matters, because at the end of the day, it comes from up there. And when it comes from up there, you have to also mirror what comes from up there. And what they see and what they feel is none of your business at
Mm-hmm.
all.
Yep.
Okay.
Well said. Well said, Ed. Well said.
Yes. No, I felt that in my soul, because I'll say, in any friendship, relationship, anybody you don't see me with in the present time, they know I was the best of who I could be at the time I was. Period,
Mm-hmm.
point blank.
The
I
tools you
never
have. Yeah.
I never want nobody to walk away from me and say Devin did this and you do that. Nope. I've always gave my whole heart on a platter, whether it's a friendship or relationship, to those that deserved it, of course. But then, sometimes it's just not enough. And sometimes you just got to say, this ain't working. Friendships and relationships.
Right.
Like being in a relationship is a form of a friendship as well. So, are
Mm-hmm.
you friends with your partner? Do you have that communication? That's also being a good friend. You know,
Yep.
A reason and a season.
yep.
Yep.
You have to have placeholders too for people in your life to understand that everybody doesn't serve the same friend purpose. And
Yep.
so, what you might expect, I can't expect what one thing out of Davina that Davina isn't capable of giving to me that I would be able to give from Devin, because Davina and Devin are two separate people. You
Correct.
have to have placeholders on your friendships and your relationships for them to work. Because if you don't have those placeholders in your mind the right way, you will start to have resentment towards certain friends when they don't shake and move the way, again, your worldly brain tells you that they should shake and move. And
Mm-hmm.
that's just the bottom line there.
I,
Placeholders for them.
I agree with that. I have a friend that is usually negative, but I think that she thinks that she does me due diligence. If I call her and I'm having a bad day, she's usually in a line with my bad thought of thinking. And so then I have other friends that I also call, just to get the perspective. Because usually when she's agreeing with what it is of how I want to handle a situation, I know that that's really not what it is.
Yeah.
But people say to me, like, so then why are you friends with her? And I think that I'm friends with her just because, and I do consider her my friend, because I have to understand that I'm not always going to agree with everybody. And not everybody is going to understand where my journey is going, because my journey is forever changing. And so she's doing the best that she can do in being my friend. And I understand that. Like, she's trying her hardest. I am older than all of my friends. And so I get it, like, of where she's at. She's trying to be just, that true to it and down girlfriend. And it's like, yeah, not all the time. You don't have to agree with me all the time. When I'm doing something bad, call me out on it.
Right.
Yeah, I agree. I'm
We
gonna
need
challenge y'all a
that.
little bit. I'm gonna challenge y'all a little bit, because I wouldn't be me if I didn't challenge y'all a little bit. Ugh. Have you always been a good friend?
No.
Oh no, absolutely not. I was so selfish. I didn't even know what a friend was. Okay, it was all about me. But I thought I was being a good friend, if I'm being honest.
Can you all
Um,
give one instance to where you know you weren't a good friend? And what would you do differently now in that situation, having grown, matured, become a woman of empowerment at this point in your life? What would you do differently?
I would say there was a time where it was a girl that I called her a friend, and I knew that she needed somewhere to stay. And when she called me, because she was going to, I knew she was going to ask me to come stay with me. I just knew this. When she called me to ask me that, I ignored her phone call. I didn't answer the phone. I just completely like cut her off because I was selfish. I didn't want her to come and stay with me. Her and her 4 kids. It just was not going to work. So yeah, and I felt horrible about that. And I actually still feel horrible about that today. It was just then in that moment, I thought about me and how it would inconvenience me. And yeah.
Great transparency there.
I have
I
a
can
question on that one, though.
Huh?
I have a question for Veronica on that.
Yep.
So,
Yep.
do you think it was necessarily being a bad friend because maybe you couldn't take on that energy and that struggle at that moment? Does that mean that you're a bad friend?
No, my problem was the communication though. As a woman, I should have communicated that to her, but instead I just avoided her. I took the coward way out. So I don't think it was wrong. Like because I'm in an apartment. You're not on my lease no way. You're not about to get me and my kids kicked out, right? But I could have communicated that to her as a woman and as a friend, and that was a coward of me not to do that. So I'm owning that part of it.
You gonna
Very
go?
good.
I can go. Yeah, I'll go next. Um, ah, I will say it took me a long time to realize
The napkin open.
I wasn't being a good friend. I
Other
could say
side.
probably until my 30s, I was not a good friend. Have I been a terrible friend forever? No. But has there been situations that I could have done things differently more than one occasion? I would say I have always been kind of like a very me type of person. So when it came to friendships, if certain things weren't going my way, it was like, okay, then we're not cool anymore, or I'm not speaking to this person anymore. Was it always that way? No. But there are, a handful of people that were my best friends. I'm talking about ride or dies. You see me with them everywhere I go. Um, and if I was the person I am today, we would probably still be friends. But because I wasn't at that time, I just said, it's too much. I don't want to deal with that. I'm good. I'm gone. And wipe my hands of that whole friendship, sisterhood, whatever it was at that time. I will say there was one incident with a very close friend of mine that I took it more personal than I should have. That's what I'll say. And I got in my feelings and walked away from a friendship for years. And then when I actually grew up and realized that that was my wrong as well as theirs, I took accountability for what I did wrong and tried to right my wrong. Am I a different person now in that friendship? Of course. Because I'm older, I'm experienced a lot of different things, and I'm just a different person now. But do I regret the way that our friendship ended at that time? Yes. Do I
I
wish
don't
I could?
think that you should regret it.
I do. I feel like it. I mean, there were the years
I don't.
that we were around.
I don't think you should regret it only because I think that it caused both of you guys to be able to grow. And
True.
had that not happened, I don't think that you guys would have both grown in the way that both of you have grown.
True. That's true.
So it was a
That is
lesson for the both of you. And so I wouldn't say that that's something that you should regret because she needed to have that moment in her life to know what changes she needed to also make. And you needed that space to be able to know that that actually was a friend.
Mm-hmm. That's true. That is true.
Sometimes we don't know what we have until it's gone.
Mm-hmm.
And sometimes we have to lose something to know that we actually needed it. And so I think that that just was a learning curve for the both of you. Just
Well,
my
thank you
opinion.
for your perspective.
I have not always liked Evan's friend, but I love her now. She has grown on me and I love her. And when that happened, I told the both of them, like, if it was meant to be, it's going to be. And they were both able to come around. And it was what it was supposed to do and be for the both of them.
Nice.
I can say for me, no, I have not always been a good friend. Um, I've always had a very hard time with trusting people. And so I will run 10 miles for a friend. And if I see that you have not ran one, I'll cut you off. I won't even communicate with you that my intentions were to have us running together or whatever it was that my intentions were in that relationship. Um, I wouldn't communicate it. I would just go ahead and I would do all I could do. And if I kind of sat there and I did my self reflecting and seen that you haven't did anything, I'd just cut you off. And I think that that kind of hindered some of my moments in life. And so when I started to realize like I had a bunch of friends that now I no longer have, I had to start doing different. And so even communicating, sometimes I have a hard time with communicating not so rough and raw. When I have something to say, I it comes from the heart. And if you don't know me and we are not really good friends, you would not know that it's coming from a genuine good place. And so I can even say when me and Devin were friends, I was actually really rough and raw with her. And she was like, hold on. She was about to cut me off. I was almost one of those people that she was going to cut off before I could cut her off.
I needed it though at that time in my 20s. Man, my life was in shambles.
My 20s were too. I can relate.
So I think with time we all grow, and part of our growing process is to understand that what it is that we need to be doing in that friendship, and then two, understanding what really makes a good friend. I'm not a good friend if I'm sitting there and I'm running them 10 miles and you're laying on my couch and you're not doing nothing, because then I'm 10 miles ahead of you, and how dare I leave you behind? Like, nah, my vision of a good friend is we're going to get up and we're going to get this together. No matter how tired we are, let's do this together because it's actually so much funner and so much easier to do it with somebody than to do it alone.
Yes.
And so we'll soak afterwards, but we running this 10 miles today.
Okay.
What about you? You asked the question. You got to answer. Now
That question was for y'all. I was just asking.
You got to answer, and then we got to read these comments. So we
Well,
let the ladies know.
let me answer. I debated on what instance I wanted to speak on. You guys hit some very deep points, but I'm about to go real deep real quick. Good Lord. So no. Again, 20s, right? 42 right now. So I became friends with a woman in my first marriage. My ex-husband's he was friends with the boyfriend, and they worked together actually. And we would go over to their house, hang out with them. She and I would go to the clubs together, while they would be over there gaming or whatever it was they were doing. And so they had worked together. And then me and her, she was a sweetheart. Like I was selling Mary Kay at the time, and I remember she was my first facial, right? She's the first facial I'd done. Was a great woman, young woman. She was younger than me. I was 24. He was my age. And she was 19 or 20 at the time, had a child, and whatever. They had became pregnant during that time with their second, I think, during that time. Anyway, I entered into an extramarital affair with her guy for 5 years. During that time, obviously we weren't friends. I did tell her, within like 4 months of him and I dealing with each other, that we were in this place, young. We thought we were in love and falling in love with each other. And, you know, when I look back on it for what it was then and where I am now, like she was good to me. You know, she was a little younger, but she was a sweetheart. She was a good person, and she would make meals. You know, I'd go over there and eat, or she would come over and same. We would, like I said, we would go to the club together. We would hang out, and you know, our guys were friends and whatnot. And um, but my role in that, right, was just messy and just dirty. Like I did you dirty. Like that's dirty. That's like low of the low. Like, and then we were constantly fighting for years and years on end about it. And again, 5 years is a long time to be dealing with somebody. And my heart and my attitude and my spirit was just so vain at that time. You know, I wasn't a I didn't think how I think now. Like I was like, oh, I got a nice whip and I ain't got no kids and I still got body and I would, you know, I do little stupid stuff like drive past her house. I think I might have told y'all this at one point, like jog past her, you know, just trying to show off and showboat, little dumb little girl tactics, roll my car, banging the music, banging Mary J. Blige. I can love you better than she. Just looking back, like, what was wrong with you, little girl? You need a hug? What you need? Man, but I had a better job. You know, just that kind of stuff. And it was like, wait, people really still think like people really still move like that. And it hurts my heart so bad. Um, we are no longer friends, obviously, but the time frame that we were friends, I do cherish that still. And we're talking 2004, 2003. I cherish that time frame. She was just funny. She was fun. Like it's a friendship that I wish that I could, when I look back on it, I wish that I could have seen where the friendship would have gone without involving all of the drama and the dramatics of it from the other angle or the other side. I did have an opportunity to apologize in 2012, and I did that. I apologized. I was studying the Bible, you know, studying to become a Jehovah's Witness at that point, and I just didn't feel right. I hadn't felt right about it, period, but I just didn't. It was just time, and I did apologize to her, and she didn't expect that from me. I said, you know, I didn't owe. I felt at the time I didn't owe you nothing, but I feel like I owe you everything because as a woman, who am I to tear down your home, your family, get in the middle of your life, your children, how you are feeling as a woman, your security, your insecurities, who am I to do that to you? And on top of that, what was I doing to myself? You didn't deserve that. And I'm sorry. And that was wholehearted. And I still, you know, I'm grateful for that because you don't always get the opportunity to mean that and say that wholeheartedly. You know, I didn't get a chance to be the kind of friend to her that I should have been because I wasn't in the right headspace to do so. What I would do differently now is everything. I mean, I'm not about to go and sit up and no matter what the dude is saying or whatever, I'm secure with myself now. At that age, you know, you're so caught up in vanity, and I mean, even still, not even at that age, but at that point, my mindset at that point was so weak, and I look back on it, and it was so ugly. Um, I would definitely not move in that direction at all. Like I would have talked to her about what was going on, like, hey, these advances or whatever. I would have said something. I would have did something different, and I would have put myself in a better predicament as a woman. Because again, was I always a woman's woman? No. But that's part of women empowerment, right? You grow, you develop, you become somebody wonderful through all the life experiences that you've had. Like you don't stay there if you're focused on growth and empowering yourself. You remove yourself from the things that made you low as a woman at one point, and you rise above that and you elevate and you become somebody who could turn around and hear these same experiences and hear women going through it and tell them, you know, you might not want to do that. You might want to, you know. So that's my not so good friend moment. I figured I'd go real deep with y'all. So
I'm gonna
No,
be
I
the
That
advocate
was
on that
deep.
one because as deep as it was, we all know that everything happens for a reason, and we have to go through whatever chapters to be able to become who we are now today and who we are still becoming tomorrow and every day moving forward from that. what is already written and said, only he knows. And so, why did you have to go through that moment? I don't know. And I don't think that that's a question anybody needs to be asking. But apparently, the both of you needed to be able to go through that moment together. And so, is it a good moment? No. But you were able to go from that and grow and be able to become the person that you are today and be able to reflect back on that and say what it is that your part was that you played in it and what you could have done different. But even if you would have changed the ifs, the what ifs, the could ifs, and the should ifs, and all of that, it still would have played out in the same manner. And so,
I don't want to be known as Mrs. Steal Your Boy.
well, and you're not, because you done changed who you are, and you as Mrs. Smith.
And they're married to each other, and that's great.
And maybe that made their marriage stronger.
I'm sure. I'm hopeful. I mean, yeah, they got married and they, kids are probably grown now, but yeah, that's amazing. Like yeah, you're right.
Maybe that was something that he needed to do for her to be able to find out so that she could go ahead and put him in his place.
Yeah.
And let him know how this is going to move forward. And maybe that gave her a voice that she didn't have in the beginning, and that showed you who it is that you really truly wanted to be in life to be able to come Mrs. Smith.
Yeah.
Boom.
I was going to say that. I was going to say, I mean, I commend you for sharing that story. And that is a prime example of what we stand for is growth. We've all been through something that we are not, proud of, but we have gotten past those moments and we have prevailed in the greatest of the greatest that we could be at the very moment. And we will continue to grow through everything we go through. And that's, I mean, I love to hear, the different things that we all have experienced, whether it was good or bad, because we are able to speak to someone, like you said, that may be going through something similar and let them know, just imagine if somebody told you within that 5 years, in a couple months, girl, you don't need to be doing that. It ain't gonna turn out right. You know what I mean? Like, so I feel like the things that we went through is the fuel to our fire of why we are Women Empowered MN LLC. We are here to help not only any one certain type of woman, but all people. We're not just here to heal just one person. We're trying to heal the whole family, from the mama to the daddy to the kids. We are trying to heal everyone. And I think that all of our testimonies are prime examples of what life can bring you and what you can get through as long as you keep God first and you keep on with the keep on. With one
and that we're not just for women that are sitting here with just degrees, but we have degrees and life experiences. So I'm not telling you how you should handle yourself or what could come out of it or what that could have meant because of the degree that I carry, but because I've also went through some hardships in my time too. Like we can all sit here and just have degrees and no life experiences and be trying to tell somebody else, where to be going. But that's like the blind leading the blind,
Right.
Nowadays, a degree really isn't anything.
Apparently, I be flashing mine around when I apparently that's what they say. I don't believe them.
That's what they said. They always
That's a whole
saying
nother story, y'all.
I did not do that.
I got degrees, but it ain't in nothing.
Don't say that, because if you say that, they gonna say you said it and you said it a different way.
But it ain't in nothing that I'm doing in life now.
I didn't say that when we was in Vegas.
But no, I mean, that's another thing too. Like, we're not sitting up here acting like we're perfect and like we live this, perfect life, because we are human and we have made mistakes in our life and we are trying to be the best that we can be one day at a time. But our stories and our testimonies are able to help everyone. And that's what our platform stands for, is just spreading the love that we want people to love us with, giving it out plus some, and spreading the knowledge and all of the above. So yeah, I just wanted to say that. I know
It does take a village to raise a child. It really does.
It really does. Let's read these comments because we running short on time here. I just want everybody to know we see what they had commented. All right. So we had already about the end of the 20-year relationship, right? Or the 20-year friendship.
I can't read them.
You see it now? She said, I ended a 20-year friendship realizing I was their friend, but they weren't mine. Yeah, that happens sometimes. And I think as soon as you realize that, that's just that moment when you're like, maybe this 20 years of friendship has set its sail and it's time to, the season's over. Maybe you were friends at one point, who's to say? I mean, but yeah, I've been there, trust me. It's not a good feeling, but it happens sometimes. Yes, love from a distance. We read her comment. Good friend comes without intentions. Karen said, may have become comfortable, accustomed to false friendships, and think every friendship operates negatively with jealousy. Just not the best intentions in mind, so they do not know how to accept genuine persons who actually care and want to be the best for them. I can second that. I think there's a lot of people that don't know there are really good people without ulterior motives. Sometimes people are just good people. And I don't know why some people don't realize that. There are a lot of people who are scheming, scamming, and doing all this setup stuff and everything, but everybody is not like that. And I think that is another reason why we're trying to be the voice for so many that don't have one. We want y'all to know, like, yeah, there's good people out here that actually care about other people. She said, amen.
And just because somebody is not saying what you want them to say or do what you want them to be doing, that does not make them a bad friend. Sometimes, it takes for a really good friend to be able to tell you that you need to be doing something better, that you need to be getting up and you need to be kicking the beat every day and moving along, climbing up that ladder and moving forward. When you're in a standstill, sometimes you don't even understand that you're in a standstill. And it takes a good friend to be able to call you out on that.
Yes, I agree. Especially if you've known somebody, you know that they are more valuable than the things that they're doing. It's like, girl, what are you doing? Or in a relationship that's draining them. I've had friends that I had to say, like, girl, people had to tell me, what are you doing with this dude? Like, it's been like that before. And it was kind of like that wake up moment, like, okay, you're right. I am, better than the situation. So the Harvard coming out of you.
No, it don't. No, I don't. I know. No, I wouldn't have went to Harvard. No, I went to Purdue. And I got degrees. No, I had to do it. I had to do it, Devin, because I didn't say it, but we're not going to go there. But yes.
Okay. I think I got a video of you saying it. You said, yeah, my brother.
There's another question down there. It's another question.
It's another one getting down there. We a wedding, I cursed him out so bad. She said, I got the weight of the world on my shoulders right now, and I love y'all. Yeah.
Aww.
And we here if you need to talk
we
about
got
it.
You.
Yep. And however we can help support you.
We got your back, girl.
Oh, we already read about that one. Reach out and they say that you weren't there for them. Yeah. It was crazy. I don't know why my thing is delayed. Yeah. She said she was about to ask that. Wonderful answer. The younger me was not the greatest. I was the petty friend who allowed my friends to be who they were in their wrongdoing and didn't correct the behavior they were displaying. I think that happens a lot, honestly.
Yeah, absolutely.
It does.
That goes to when people be like, I'm just minding my own business, they're doing what they want to do. But it's like, if you really care about your friend, and you know they're doing something that can, be destructive or bad for their health, it's like sometimes you have to step in as their friend and be like, no, you gotta cut this out.
If one of you are wearing a wig that I do not agree with, best believe I'm gonna tell you.
She told me that at least 100 times, just so y'all know. She said, I've shut down, I've had a good friend more than a bad friend. I've been a good friend more than a bad friend. Yeah.
Me too. I mean, even with the little, I can say I have to.
From hardship to royalty, queens. Oh, thank you.
Bless you, sweetheart. Thank you.
Yes.
Because I ain't never going to walk around and pretend like I didn't live before.
Right.
You can say what you want to say about me or whatever, what I did, how I did it. Because I'm going to tell you how I did it. Matter of fact, I wrote a book on how I did it. How about that? I just ain't published it yet. But I wrote a book on it.
Come out with that. Remember, that's going to be the self-help. Coming to y'all soon. But no, we have time. Do y'all have any updates or anything you want to let everybody know? Anybody seeing this recording? I think the main thing about being a good friend is just love people how you want to be loved.
Agreed.
Yeah.
That's it. Just show up as yourself and meet people where they at, and you'll find out either they can be your friend or they can't. But you can't force it.
Give what you can, no more, no less.
Right.
Yeah, that's it.
And there's going to be so much more to come about the co-ed podcasts and co-ed conferences and things like that. Like I said, we're not just going to be working just with women. We are going to be doing the holistic perspective, from the mama to the daddy to the kids. Everybody can come and get help and healing. So it's a holistic thing. So
women empowered doesn't necessarily mean just women empowered by empowering women. Empowerment goes a long way. It goes everywhere. It's broad. It's big. It's bigger than mainstream.
Well, because when you think of like once you're empowered, then what's next? Like your household has to be powered.
Yes.
And so not only you need to be powered, but your entire household in order for you to be a force to be reckoned with.
Your children, your families, like you said, from wherever, from what is it? What does Miss Cheryl always say? From the top of your head to the soles of your feet. Come on, V. I know you know the saying.
That's what she said. You could take that to the bank.
To the bank. Bang, bang. Bada bang.
You betcha that. You can take that to the bank.
Love it.
All right, we love y'all. So much more to come. We will be posting about up and coming events. Like I said, co-ed. So if you have a spouse, brother, cousin, somebody that you know needs some support, there will be a group that's going to be, it'll be a separate group, but it will be a group powered by Women Empowered, but that will be for everyone. There will be some co-ed men and women podcasts coming, and
marriage podcasts coming, relationships podcasts coming, all kinds of stuff.
Right,
spiritual retreats. The whiteout.
You want to announce what we're doing tomorrow?
Oh, we're going to KMOJ tomorrow.
Oh yeah, tomorrow we're going to KMOJ. At what time? Late. Yep. But we sure are.
We're going to be on the late night show.
9:30.
Yeah, we're gonna be at KMOJ. So y'all,
not
if
that y'all just look
now,
like that
for the recording, we're gonna be on KMOJ. That's the plan. 9:30.
9:30. We'll be there.
So tune in. We'll keep y'all up there. I'm pretty sure we'll probably go live while we're there, so y'all can see everybody and see what we're doing.
You'll go live. I'm still fasting.
Somebody gonna go live.
We're gonna be live. I'm out of here. I gotta prepare for a prayer line, y'all.
Yes, she has to prepare for prayer line. We have to get ready to get on prayer line. Love you. Should we pray real quick?
Yes.
We should pray.
Okay.
For healthy relationships and friendships.
Yes.
Who praying? Y'all thought I was praying?
What just happened?
Because we need that strong Veronica pray out. Let's go.
We do.
I'm almost there.
Jesus. You
About
are
good
there,
friendship.
girl.
You got this.
All right. Okay, dear Father God, we just thank you, Lord. Thank you for friendships. Thank you for sisterhood, Lord God. Lord, I just pray for everybody watching the podcast tonight that they can be vulnerable, God, that they can receive the good, healthy relationships that you have planned for them, Lord God. Lord, I just pray that you strengthen relationships and you just expose truths to us, God. We thank you for everything you're doing in Women Empowered and everybody who's watching, and just let this word spread. In Jesus' name, amen.
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 See you ladies
Amen.
on prayer line at 8. Love you.
8 o'clock. Bye.
Bye.